Stanley Deck, Electro Deck, 4x7, to me, too sweet to do low. Tomorrow, mommy more. 3002, Calote Masungo.
It's as if somebody should be standing on the bow of a space cruiser with their arms stretched out wide saying, "I'm king of the Arath." Actually, that's not fair. When there's no translating, there's no translations to misspell. Welcome to part 2 of the Classic Game Room review of Thunderforce 6, and I'm proud to report that when you win the game with the first fighter that they give you, the Phoenix, you are then awarded the Rhinox R, which starts with a simple twin shot, and then you have to collect power-ups to get your weapons, just like the other Thunderforce games, and like most other shooters. The first fighter you start with, the Phoenix, comes with every single weapon in the game fully charged. The Rhinox R also has slightly different weapons. You get the blade weapon, which you see on screen now. Remember that from Thunderforce 4. Also, the overweapon for the standard shot is this ridiculous, powerful energy sword, which reminds me of the thing they had in Mars Matrix, actually. I'm playing on hard here, which is much more challenging than normal, and I think this is really what you want to play the game at. This brings the difficulty level up to where it was with Thunderforce 5. And other modern shooters like Gradius 5, for instance. The gameplay gets better when you're playing with the Rhinox R. You obviously have to be more careful. You don't want to get blown up or you lose whatever weapon it is that you're using at that time. For instance, if you get exploded with the Hunter, you lose the Hunter. So it's like the other Thunderforce games. As you can see on the hard setting, the enemies are much angrier and shoot at you with many more bullets. As I mentioned in part 1, I'm really impressed with Thunderforce 6. This game is a tremendous shooter. The more I played it, especially in the hard setting, the more I was keeping a close eye on my overweapon power. Whenever you blow enemies up, they release those green glowing things into the air. You pick those up. I like this level a lot. This is a straight throwback to Thunderforce 3. Remember these guys? Then there's those red robot transformer-like things that fly up to greet you with a laser cannon. When you win the game with the Rhinox R, you're then awarded another fighter, the Syrinx. You choose your fighter at the beginning of each game, and also it saves your high score based upon the difficulty that you play and which fighter that you use.
Thunderforce 6.
The Syrinx has a couple different weapons, including this one, if you remember that. The Syrinx is the plane that your fighter actually turns into halfway through the gameplay. You notice at some point, I think it's after you defeat all the other past Thunderforce jets that have been mutated and turn into your enemy. You then get this plane, your claws or craws are a different color. Instead of that lightning sword thing, you get an enormous flamethrower for your standard weapon. Interestingly, the music is different on a couple levels with the other fighters, and you can note that here. The Syrinx also has every weapon fully loaded, so it doesn't have the power-ups that you get with the Rhine XR. Oh, the Hunter weapon is also a slightly different color, although I'm not sure if it's more powerful or not, but it's more purple. It's lavender. I love the way the flamethrower looks. This is the kind of game I'd love to see brought over here to the United States. I think this would find a perfect home on Xbox Live Arcade or the PlayStation Network. And the hardware on the 360 and PS3, I think, would handle the busy parts of Thunderforce 6 with ease. PlayStation 2 seems to struggle at times, and there is some slowdown. Similar to many shooters on the Sega Genesis, when there's a lot going on screen and there's slowdown, that gives you more time to react. I gave the spoiler alert at the beginning, but I had to show the fact that the end boss looks exactly like a Tool album cover. Here we're back to showing some hard difficulty with the Rhine XR. And this section of the game is actually quite challenging, and I'm using my Hunter weapon with the over weapon to eliminate all of those pesky blocks in front of me. When you get near the end of the game, you have to conserve your over weapon because you face a number of end bosses in a row, so you're not collecting as many of the green things to power up your over weapon. And that's what's great about a game like this when done well. There's parts of the game when you just blow things up, and there's parts of the game where you have to actually use strategy. This guy here is ridiculously challenging if you don't have any of your overweapons charged up. Shoving the sword into his face seems to do the trick fairly easily, and then I'm awarded a times 16 multiplier for getting rid of him quickly. It's a lot of fun. This is a very well done game. It's not terribly long, which is really my biggest complaint about it. But what they've done well is they've given it sufficient replay value. It's a lot of fun. The music, the details, the graphics, the homage to previous Thunderforce games. That's all there, and that's all done well. As my spaceship gets annihilated here, I bid you farewell until next time. Some more Thunderforce reviews are coming, including Thunderforce AC on the Saturn, Thunderforce 4 on the Saturn, and then the second part of Thunderforce 5. And someday, hopefully they'll make Thunderforce 7. They could call it Still Thundering After All These Years. Or they could just call it Super Mega Hyper Fighting Remix Type R Thunderforce Alpha B. Or Lightning Force 2.